Hey, what's up guys? Today I'll be doing a review on these Phenom Elite XRT-220S Ultimate Bag Gloves. So stay tuned. What's up guys? Today I'm doing a close-up weigh-in and review on the Phenom Elite XRT-220S Ultimate Bag Gloves. Got mine in black and red. It also comes in white and gold. Two different sizes, small, medium, which is advertised as 12 ounces, and large, extra large, which is advertised as 14 ounces. And these look really similar to the Rival Guerrero D30 IntelliShock bag gloves, with a couple small differences. Mainly is going to be the wrist support closure, where Rival uses that V-lock strap or the V-strap system. This one uses a standard wraparound Velcro strap. So it's a full 100% leather glove. I believe it's made in Pakistan. Phenom, the company itself, is based out of the UK. So you have the embroidered P on the back of the glove, as well as the embroidered Phenom. A nice tri-cot liner that's nice and smooth and comfortable. You have the tag for the size there. Double stitching on the palm with the ventilated holes. You can see stitching is done really nicely, real clean. Everything on this glove looks really nice and clean and done very well. Nice colors attached to them there. And then here's the XRD technology, which is basically their version of D30. Without cutting this open, it's really hard to say if this is any different than D30 or if it's the same thing and they just renamed it. It feels like it has the same kind of density to it, the actual pad. And the premise of this is when you land a shot, it's supposed to absorb the shock of it and disperse it much better than a standard layered foam. One thing I did notice with this is it started to kind of scuff. And I think because this XRD D30 type material is super hard, when you hit something, you have to be real careful because it'll actually scuff it, because it kind of thins out the leather, if that makes any sense. I think it's the same thickness as the rest of the leather on the glove, but because that material, which is about, looks like a quarter of an inch thick, kind of makes it to where it's an easy target for it to tear or get scuffed. So there you have it. Beautiful looking glove. They are side by side. I'm gonna go ahead and put these on the scale to see how much this actually weighs. So the right glove, again, these are advertised to be 14 ounce for large XL. So let's see how much these actually weigh. So these are actually 12.5 ounces. That's the right glove. And the left glove is almost 12.5 ounces. So the weight with each other are pretty accurate, but they're definitely not 14 ounces. These are actually, weight-wise, these are considered the small, medium size, but they're large XL. So let's go ahead and do the review. Hey, what's up guys? Carlo here, and today I'm doing a review on these Phenom Elite XRT 220S Ultimate Bag Gloves. I got mine in the black and red color scheme. You can also get it in white and gold, and it comes only in a Velcro closure. Sizing-wise, you can get it in a small, medium, which is supposed to be about 12 ounces. Or you can get it in the large, extra large like I have here, which is supposed to be around 14 ounces as they advertise. Now, design-wise, I know the first thing you probably thought when you saw these gloves when they were released was, man, those really look close to the Rival Guerrero D30 IntelliShock bag gloves. And I thought the same thing. They share a lot of similarities. Both gloves are manufactured in Pakistan. Both use this style of padding over the knuckle area. Obviously, Rival uses their technology, which is called D30. And the whole premise behind that is when you land your punch, is that the D30 is supposed to absorb and disperse the shock through this pad. Now, the one that Phenom uses is called XRD protection. If it's the same thing, that's going to be hard for me to know unless I actually cut this open and cut the one open on the Rival and actually like sit there and cross-examine both materials on it. But the actual consistency of it feels the same. It has that really hard, stiff feel to it, the padding on here. And again, that's really just there to give you a high level of shock absorption when you're using it on a heavy bag. So hence these being mainly a heavy bag glove, you cannot use these for sparring, would not recommend it. So any kind of bag work minus sparring you use this for. But design-wise, you can see here, it does have the Phenom logo, the Phenom P that is embroidered on the back of the glove. Full genuine leather construction. It does say XRD protection over this knuckle pad that goes around almost to probably the second part of your fingertips right here. Obviously, the fingertips are just your standard size and opening right there. And then you also have the Velcro strap that says Phenom that's embroidered. That wraps all the way around. You have a full wraparound Velcro strap. Now that's the other big key difference between this and the rival Guerrero glove is that the Guerrero uses their V-strap technology, and it has that extra strap that comes right about here and it kind of crosses over. So you're getting a little bit more of a locked-in feel on this portion of your hand. So it's not just down below the hinge point on your hand. You're kind of getting it up and over. So you're really creating almost like a V over your hand, so it prevents your wrist from moving around a lot. So that's the difference between that and in terms of the wrist support that you have. On the thumb, you see they use a leather attached thumb right there. Ventilated holes on the palm as well as on the thumb. Medium-sized grip bar has good firmness to it. Double stitching in the red. The actual inside liner is a nice smooth tricot liner. It does say XRT-220S right there on the label, size LXL. Made in, see if I can get it, made in Pakistan. Sorry for hitting the camera. And then it just has like the provided degree of protection, your standard disclaimer if you're using this for boxing. So you have that inside liner and then that piece of elastic that is stitched over the inside to keep the palm side together. They'll say XRD, Extreme Impact Protection right here. That has that little tag. So you have all that. So a pretty clean looking glove. The profile of the glove is definitely more on the compact side. So again, very close to the rival in the fact that they really wanted to make a compact fitting glove. So when you put your hand in there, it just feels like it's one piece with your hand. Now, quality wise, these gloves, in my opinion, are actually a little bit nicer, a hair nicer than the rivals, except for one little area, which I'll show you guys here in a second. But I feel like the fit and the finish, like the leather is a little bit cleaner. The stitching was done a little bit better on this. On my rivals, there was a couple areas where I felt the stitching could have been done better. And I've also heard of quality control issues from other people that have bought the D30 and Teleshock Guerrero gloves that had where the strap was uneven on one glove and then the other glove it was a little bit higher. So I knew there were definitely some QC issues with the Guerrero bag gloves, and I felt like this was done a little cleaner. Like the leather itself is real similar to the one that you see on the Guerrero. It's pretty standard with a lot of Pakistan manufactured gloves, but it's really nice. You can see that the leather's done clean. The stitching is done pretty well where the thumb meets the index finger. The stitching on the palm looks good. The seam between the outside thumb and the inside thumb looks really good. The holes are punched out nicely on the ventilation on the thumb as well. The Velcro strap is done real nice. You can see it's all done in leather. The inside liner is really nice and clean and comfortable. You have, I'd say, 1/4 inch of padding on the inside of the wrist that goes up to right about here on the outside of the palm, and the inside palm it ends right here where it meets that thumb piping. The back of the wrist, you have about, I'd say, 1/2 inch of nice firm padding as well. And so the great thing about that is the weight is distributed really nicely with this glove. The glove doesn't feel top heavy at all, and it's probably one of the more balanced feeling gloves that I felt, especially for a bag glove. Sometimes you get those gel pad bag gloves like Tidal has, where it's just so super top heavy and they front loaded with so much gel that it feels like the midsection of the glove is really weak and just kind of flops around. With this, you can see it has a nice solid feel to it, which I really like. The one issue I did find with this is going to be a lot of scuffing. Now, I'm trying to see if I can capture this on video, but for me, using this on the bag, you can really see that the actual leather is starting to kind of split a little bit on certain sections. And I think that has a lot to do with this hard XRD material that they use on the inside here. And when you're making impact, you can see that it's not necessarily thinner than the leather that they use on the rest of the glove, but because the material in here is so hard, that when you're landing shots on here, it just doesn't give a lot. It doesn't have a lot of give in the leather. So you can see what ends up happening is it ended up getting scuffed right there and right here. And that's only gonna get worse over time from me hitting the bag with that. So it's just one of those things that I noticed if you're landing shots with this thin area, this area that's kind of thinned out over this XRD pad, is gonna obviously take all of the brunt of your punches. And I feel like the leather, the durability of that's going to be reduced because of how hard that material it is, and it just doesn't allow any give with the leather over that. It's not like when you're punching with a standard leather, or you have like latex foam or a multi-layer foam on the inside here, it has more give, so the leather, it's really hard for it to get scuffed or cut open compared to something that's hard like this hard material. And really, that's the only area that I found that concerned me as far as the quality of the gloves. But the rest of the glove, I feel, is actually a little bit better than rival in terms of the fit and the finish and just the overall look and feel of the glove. Now, the comfort of the glove, when you slide this on, is a very comfortable glove. And that's what I love about this particular Phenom glove. And really, any of the Phenom gloves I've used have all been really, really comfortable. Real similar in terms of fit to the rival Guerreros. Really nice, narrow, kind of a conical feel. The wrist is locked in nicely. It has a good Velcro strap. Is the wrist support as good as the Rivals? Maybe a hair less because it doesn't have that V-strap. I do like the fact that the Rivals have that extra strap that kind of comes over. And you get a little bit more of a locked-in feel, especially right here on the palm side. So if you need that extra wrist support, that's completely up to you. But this Velcro strap is really nice and robust and does a good job of locking my wrist in. The thumb feels excellent. Nice, long, parallel thumb with a good amount of foam padding on the back of the thumb. Nice and comfortable. Doesn't feel like it jams at the top. A good, perfect length. That way your thumb sits in there nicely. And you can see it's tucked in, so you don't have to worry about injuring your thumb. Nice, deep finger compartment with a little piece of neoprene that goes over the stitching right there, which is a big pet peeve of mine, of the little details. But you can really curl your fingers over and make an excellent fist with this. And you can see that you have a nice, large, flat punching surface with this glove. And you land right out there on that XRD pad when you're throwing your punches with this. So I definitely like the actual comfort of the glove. It has a pretty broken in feel. So you can see I can open and close my palm with relative ease. The width of the glove isn't too wide. It's not too narrow. I don't have any issues with pinching with the glove on the thumb right here with this piping. So overall, a really comfortable glove. Definitely up there with some of the most comfortable I've felt and used so far. Protection and performance, this is definitely a protective glove. Whether or not this is the same as D3O, when I use this on the heavy bag, you get more of a pop feeling with this, but I feel like the actual shock dispersion is the same as D3O. I didn't feel like there was a difference as far as how much shock I felt through my knuckles all up into my forearm and into my elbows and eventually my shoulder. But a lot of times when I'm using gloves, especially on bags that are typically a lot more dense, like the nozzle, I got this new Tidal Soft Strike heavy bag, but usually you feel it and it kind of comes up through your elbow. That's why a lot of people end up getting tennis elbow or tendinitis right here on that part of your elbow, because that's really what's taking a lot of the brunt of the shock. Once you're landing on that, it just kind of travels up into your elbow and you end up getting tennis elbow. And I have it in both arms or in both elbows right here where it gets really tender over time. And a lot of boxers and just people in combat sports in general end up getting that. And I feel like this does a good job of absorbing shock like the D3O Guerreros. But I feel like the XRD pad just gives a little bit more of pop on the bag. I still feel like I get the same amount of vibration in a densely padded multi-layer foam bag glove that I do with this. This one just gives you a little bit more of that bang that you're looking for. So if you're using this on the mitts, if you're using it on a heavy bag, because this material is so hard, you just get it's more of like a sound type deal where you're hitting the bag with it and you're like, wow, I hear that pop. And the reason I say that is I have a pair of the rival HDEF gloves, which to me are identical to the rival D3O gloves, except the D3O just has that sliver. But when I would hit the bag with it, I didn't really feel much of a difference when it came to shock absorption. The only difference I felt with the D3O material and with this XRD material is the sound that I was getting with the glove. So you get a really nice popping feeling. And don't get me wrong, it does a good job of protecting your hands. That's why they're there. This is supposed to be a really nice, comfortable bag glove. But I felt like with the D3O, and I feel like even with this, it's a little bit more of a gimmick than it is an actual something that I feel like it adds another layer of shock absorption or protection, because I feel like I've used gloves in the past that have multi-layer foam, higher density in closed cell and open cell, and they put like a piece of EVA over it, and it does just as good as a job of absorbing the shock as something that has this XRD or D3O, if you want to call it. So that's just my thoughts on that. I mean, some people may feel different about it, but for me, using all of these gloves, that's my experience with that. Now, as far as using this for like hitting the mitts and all that, it's great. I mean, you get a good crack out of it. You feel like you make a nice good connecting feeling. And the sound of it, obviously, I know a lot of us love that pop and that sound. That's probably the best part about these gloves for sure. Now, cost-wise, these gloves are 179 British pounds, which is equivalent to about 240 US dollars. And I know that's a big pill to swallow when it comes to gloves in general. And that's really that's just, for a glove like this, it's comfortable. I love the quality of it, minus this little area right here on the patch. But it's also about $35 to $40 more than the rival Guerrero D3O gloves. So it's kind of a toss-up because you're paying a little bit more for this, and it's almost the same thing. I feel like the comfort level on both gloves are about the same. I feel like this technology, it's pretty much the same as far as this pad that goes over knuckles. I personally couldn't feel a difference in shock absorption. That's just me. I do like the Velcro V-strap on the rivals because you get that little bit extra support up above on the nape part of your thumb. But the quality on these to me are a little bit better than the rival. So you're kind of doing a bit of a pick and choose. I still think the price on these, at least in US dollars, is pretty on the high side. I mean, if you can get these down to around $200, then I definitely think that's in a really solid range as far as price goes for a glove of this style. And obviously, if you're looking for that kind of technology for a bag glove, but I still think it's a little bit on the high side when it comes to pricing, because once you're getting to that $240, $50 range, now you're looking at people that want to spend a little bit more money and just get an all-around training glove like a pair of Winnings or whatever they're looking at getting. So, but again, that's just completely up to you. It's totally subjective on what you guys feel is good for you. I feel it's a little bit on the high side when it comes to cost. Not a bad glove, just trying to look at it from a cost perspective compared to what else is out there right now. So if you guys have any questions or comments, as usual, put them down below. I'll put the link in the description box where you can find these Phenom bag gloves. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.